said, let's just try and improvise an idea, and let's see what sticks. And we're gonna just go from there.
Mind your way.
Oh no, we're good. We're good. So this is the just walk out into the unknown,
This is tough.
and then we'll catch up from there. Anyone can start. Oh, no, keep it going. Keep the groove going. Keep the groove going. Who wants to be lead on this? You down?
Yeah, I like the funk. Oh, did you? No, go ahead.
I think I put the mic down over there somewhere. Should be right there. It's plugged into the. Follow the yellow brick road.
That's nice.
Over a little bit. There we go. I think that's a good starting C. Beautiful. Give yourself. Clap it up for yourself. Clap it up for yourself. Okay, so what did we like about what we just did? What stood out to you as like good pieces of what we just did?
It's kind of a little funky.
Okay, a little funky.
I love that bass line. That was fun.
That was very nice bass line. Yes, for sure. Good foundation to build from, for sure. Anything else we liked? I mean, it's okay if there's nothing else. I think there were some other nice aspects to it. Anything else stand out to you?
I
Stand
like the
out?
vocals, like with the it kind of like with the bass, it had that like da 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 da, and then like with the, I felt like the vocals kind of called back to it in a way, but like in a nice.
Yes, calm
Back and
response.
forth,
Yes,
yeah.
I think there was definitely some calm response there. Absolutely.
I like that it wasn't like too busy right away. We kind of like settled into it slowly and kind of established the vibe first.
Yes, agreed. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty gritty. What do we feel like could have been improved?
I think spacing, or like some of the coming up with lyrics and then trying to figure out exactly how they could play into the melody that was being provided. So that's like something that I'm working on, figuring out like what's a hook to call back to that's not too repetitive, too overdone, while giving enough time for the instrument
ask you, what do you consider too repetitive?
When the rhythm is like, and then I'm like trying to figure out something else like that could make it end. I don't have the words, but I know what I'm.
Oh, I get what you're getting at though. So it's like you have a pattern,
Yes.
but you want like a variation maybe on that pattern?
variation towards the
Okay.
end so that it shows like a definitive end
Mm,
rather than just
okay,
a
okay.
trail off.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can definitely see that. We can work on that. Any other observations?
Yeah, for me specifically, I was trying to think about like what role to play or how to add,
Very
which
good
I felt
question.
like I wasn't adding much. And then also, which is fine because maybe it just doesn't call for me adding as much. But also for me is like, my hearing isn't that great, so I wanted to figure out like, first of all, like what key, what note. Maybe I was overthinking it, and I was trying to like see like what kind of experiment, like what.
I think it's in G minor.
G minor.
Which would be what's it called? A sharp major.
Yeah, did you get G minor?
I kept on playing G and E, so or not. Yeah, so I didn't get G minor. I know it was G, like it had those two notes.
Oh, you found G and the E as
Yeah.
notes that you were playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like I heard G and E, but like I couldn't figure out the rest.
Yeah, so that's definitely one thing. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's stabilize, like this is the theory portion. Let's just make sure we're like all on the same page musically. How about yourself?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Cause like hearing it, I'm kind of like, okay, it'll be a lot easier for me to like do cooler things if I know kind of what key or what I should be playing or what notes make sense in this like.
So are you like trained in terms of like music theory and stuff like that or no?
Like not as such, so like a little bit. I've kind of played a lot by like basically I went to this like trumpet workshop and like when we're starting to like improvise, like I'll kind of like note like what notes make sense and whatever like the key I guess it is.
Right.
But like I guess it's essentially like kind of like I need to like harp down on that sort of like theory thing to make sure I'm playing.
Let me just ask this in general. Who considers themselves trained in music theory here? More or less.
Did music theory in like elementary, middle school as like a piano test, but I
Right.
don't remember a lot of it.
And it was like classical?
It was classical, yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say I took AP music theory, but that's only because they jumped us from vocal technicals to AP music theory, and I was not prepared. So I was
Okay.
mad.
No,
So-
I took it too. On the sight singing part, I cursed a bunch.
Yeah.
I like started sight singing, I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah, man. Yeah, nah, I'm embarrassed to say I took it.
But you're embarrassed because you feel like you weren't ready for it? Or?
I was definitely not ready. They moved us from vocal tech into vocal tech part 2 into AP music theory, not even music theory, but AP music theory, which
Okay.
was like way ahead of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple quick thoughts about music theory to frame our reference. One, there is a reason it's called music theory, and to be clear, it is specific ideas. These specific ideas. Come on in, make yourself comfy. I like this. It's giving hip hop. It's giving like
Yeah.
you know.
How's it going? You want to sit on the couch? You
Yeah, there's another stool there you can take. So first of all, just saying that it's music theory is a set of ideas that I know were a privileged ideas that a particular set of people thrust upon the world. We can just be realistic and real and say like the Euro colonist idea of what music is supposed to be is what we generally consider the right or correct, right? Now, that's not to shit on everything that they did because I think they had a lot of good ideas and a lot of those ideas are still like applicable and usable. But one, you're not inferior if you don't know or use those ideas. And it's also important to realize that there there's infinite ideas that exist outside of those ideas that are applicable and will allow you to express yourself, right? So we're gonna use just the same way like I'm speaking English, but like we're speaking English and that's what I know, but that isn't the breadth of language, right? There's so many other ways to express things.
And even within English, there's like a lot of derivatives from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you take the things that work for you, and then you dish the shit that doesn't. Like honestly. So, but key, knowing your key, and like the scale, generally pretty good idea. It's a pretty good idea. I personally think it's a pretty good idea. So we play that your riff again, my friend. Here, and I'm gonna actually. Can I sit down for a second and you can watch me for a moment? Okay, so this is actually a big part of this, especially within the context of an improvised setting. It's like, all right, we don't have sheet music. This is the opposite of sight singing, or whatever. It's like, it's us. Okay, how much information can we get from what musical idea Brian is laying down? So what I'm gonna do, and by the way, I don't have perfect pitch. So I'm gonna hit a note, and it might be in and it might be out. You said G minor now, so that's like a cheat. But if I was like, I'm gonna hit a random note probably, and then I'm going to use that as my like calibration for the whole, where I need to go from there. So I might end up hitting something like this. Okay. Oh, you make it sound so good. But would you guys consider this in the key? No.
But like any note can be in the key.
Yes.
But any note that's out of key is surrounded by two notes that are in key.
Absolutely. Yes. No. Keep playing this riff. I love. Yes. So the point I'm trying to make is, number one, I'm gonna use that to calibrate. But also, in order to contextualize things, I think it's really important to move away from. I'll stand for a second. Move away from, again, this right and wrong, and have a spectrum of like the meaning we're trying to convey. So in this case, the way I kind of look at it is like there are three kind of positions of any note. So what I mean is there are 12 notes period, right? 12 distinct notes within the Western harmony. And there are the notes which are the chord tones. So those are the notes that feel very grounded. Those are the notes that are going to feel very centered. It's going to feel very restful. So you said G minor. Let's see if. Okay, when I play that note, it feels complete. It doesn't feel like it needs to go anywhere necessarily, right? You could, or you could just sit there. I could just, and anyway. Okay, and just by itself already, by having like a clear idea, you're contributing greatly. Okay, so that's one position. So those are the chord tones. And then there's a second position, which we're calling the color tones. Those are also in the scale, or in the key. And those are notes that are a little bit more, they feel a little bit more suspended. They don't feel as weighted. And a lot of times those notes lead back to one of those chord tones. Does this make sense to everybody so far? Have I lost anybody? Or still?
Yeah.
Please stop me at any point if you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Can you repeat what you said?
The last thing I just said is, so after you have your chord tones, you have your color tones, or your extensions, those are other names for them, which feel a little bit more, sorry, you're gonna be real basic, please keep it going, because I'm gonna use you as the framework. Okay, and these are notes that are also in the key, but they don't feel as grounded. So you might play this. Okay, so let's see. That's an example. Okay, now that's in the key. Does it feel in the key to you guys? Or does this feel good? Is really the question.
I think so.
You think so? I like that answer actually. Because now this is a note that feels like it, or it tends to feel like it's leading in a direction. So if I go, now that's a chord tone. So it's leading itself back into one of those more like grounded notes. Okay? So this is the part, like most people talk about this much, but the part that people miss are what we can call blue notes, or the outside notes. The outside notes, there is no wrong note. It's just like, it's gonna feel more dissonant. It's gonna feel maybe a little nasty. Maybe sometimes what you want is it to be nasty or gross or aggressive, right? Because if you know, if I hit, that's a very aggressive sound, right? And that's a chord tone. So those are kind of your options, and there are different chord tones, there are different color tones, and then there are different blue notes, and how you tell your story with those notes is everything, right? But all of them are available at any time. It's just a question of you being clear with your intention and knowing how to like say what you want to say. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yay, nay, maybe? Sort of? Okay, well, if it doesn't yet, let it wash over you. It's gonna make sense soon. All right, so for instance, okay, so I'm gonna land on chord tones. Now that was chord tones, that was color tones, and that was extensions. Chord tone, let's say blue note. Color tone. Okay, those are all chord tones. Okay, so that feels pretty in because those are all those weighted notes, but then you could go, oh, that's a color tone. Okay, and just for the sake of it, let me go a little farther out. Brian, thank you. I'll give your fingers a rest. So, is that clear to you guys? The idea here is just manipulating those three kind of, you know, like conceptual bubbles.
Wait, you have chord tones, color tones, and
blue notes or out notes, you know. There's a lot, you know, like this, like in the blues, right? You go. They call that the blue note. But I would
use that as a substitute for all the notes that are not in the scale.
Well, in the blues you wouldn't necessarily consider it a substitute. It's part of the scale, but it is a note that, yeah, if this is the scale.
No, but there's only one blues note that I'm aware of, right?
Right. That's generally what people mean when they say blue note. When I'm calling blue notes are all those other notes that I'm using it more in a conceptual meaning. Usually they mean the tritone. But what I'm saying is that any of those notes that are a little bit more dissonant, they're a little more outside, you can, and maybe in some cases should use those in order to like access different feelings. Because that's what I think we're trying to do, right? It's not about like appealing to like what some guy from the 17th century said. It's like, am I expressing what I want to say, right? So you have access to all of that all at once. Make sense?
Yes.
Still with me? Okay. All right, so not to belabor this because I want us to get back into playing. So we've ascertained. Let's see. Okay, Brian, one more time. Play that line for me. I also want to make it clear that play, please. When we say, oh, it's G minor, there are different minor scales. So it's still going to come down to taste and your subjective like impression of what feels good and right to you. So I could play. Okay, that's a minor scale, but so is this. Okay. Okay, minor. But also I could go. And you can stop. Thank you. And those are just two options. So I just really want to kind of, I'm trying to like liberate us from this concept of right and wrong and understand that there is freedom. But what's kind of tricky about being a person is sometimes it's helpful to justify it somehow. So a lot of the ways I allow myself to be free is to find the good reason. I don't know if that's true for everybody, but for me, knowing that it's like, oh, okay, these are a set of ideas from some European cats, and they, you know, okay, and there are other ideas. That helps me feel free. The idea that, oh, well, there's like multiple minor scales, and it's a matter of my own taste, that helps me to feel free. So the more evidence you can kind of have to support the claim about your own freedom of expression, I find that really helpful as a framework. Okay? So, all right, I want us to play some more. But so again, so we know now we're in G minor, and we only have one chord technically. Doesn't mean you only have to play one chord. I want to make that clear. Okay, let's just play it again, and let's see if we can ground it a little more.
Do you want like a part B that'll put us into another chord?
Not yet. And a mem, or
Yes.
did I say, is it a mem?
Amen. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If given what I said about tones, do you know G minor? Like, do you know the G minor scale?
I searched like if like basically I searched if the bass is playing G minor, trumpet G playing the A natural minor. I don't know if any of that makes sense.
A natural minor. No. Whoa. It might. Yeah, because you have to transpose on the trumpet. Just play some stuff and keep in mind what I said. Because listen. Because also you want to get to the point where in real time you can make these decisions. So if you hit a note and you're like, that feels sour to me, it's probably a blue note.
And then I should play something near it.
You can, and that's gonna make it feel more like comfortable or like you landed somewhere. So let's try that out and let's see what happens. Yeah? Okay, we'll start there. Joy, what were you trying to do today? I feel like I know what you was trying to do. Okay. All right. All right, we're gonna start you. Oh, is that what you were trying to do?
Oh.
No.
I guess that's what I'm doing now.
No. Joe got it. Wait, hold on. One second. No, hold on to it. We're gonna assign for everybody. I feel like you trying to get in your percussion bag. Am I wrong? Yeah. Don't be shy about it. That's what we're here for. Okay, we're gonna get you in on percussion. I feel like I would like you on some supporting vocals. So see if you can be background or find ways to support what Jomani is saying, and then we'll explore what that would look like to make it even stronger, right? Okay. Come here, Joy. So we're gonna play together though, so for now. So let's see. Actually, sorry. Oh yeah. You want to start there? Start here, and then I'm gonna throw you on the drum kit if you know.
Okay.
But I would actually say, like, pay attention to what my choices, and then we can use that as a foundation for what you should play.
Okay.
Yeah, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's try it again. From the top, y'all. that's a good stopping place. All right, yeah, very nice, guys. Nice. Okay, so, all right, what do we feel like were our strong points that time? Did that feel like an improvement over the time before that, you guys?
Yeah.
A little different? What do you think felt more concrete for you guys?
Vocals a lot more confident this time. Sounded really good.
Yeah, really good.
Beautiful. Anything else?
I love how steady everybody was. Like it was the dynamics were like on fire because we weren't trying to figure everything out. We had like a starting point from the beginning, and the progression was really good. Yeah, I really loved everyone's sound. They were like really good punctuation. And then I heard you too. You were like really good. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, and this is funny. I feel like shout outs to Sly Stone. You know, Sly was definitely a big influence in my life, and I was like, before I heard that he had passed away, I was like, oh, I was thinking of going into funk as like the starting place for the workshops on Saturday. I was like, well, now I definitely have to, and I've been thinking a lot about, you know, I've been thinking actually a lot in general about what defines each genre, what makes it what it is, you know, what separates it from any other genre. You know what I mean? Like good musicality can exist in every genre, and I assume does if we like it. But what about that genre has something that touches us in a special way? What about funk music touches us in a special way? Let me actually ask y'all a real quick question. Do you guys feel like this is a funk groove? Let me not assume.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It can be.
It can be.
I think it can be. I wouldn't necessarily immediately assign it to funk if I heard it. It resonates more like R&B to me, but it's not far from funk. I think it just needs a little more attitude, a little more grit to it. Like, cause funk is sweaty. It's like, at least the way I see it, it's like black funk. You know what I mean? It's like, if there's an equivalent, because you know punk is a black movement anyway, but we're not gonna talk about that. But like essentially, musically, I really feel like funk is the punk that we held on to, and it kind of takes all of the sweaty parts, all of the nasty bits, and it puts it into grooves that really resonate a little bit deeper than R&B. And so
That's really well said. I think, yeah, because to me this almost feels like something the Temptations or somebody in like 70s Motown would
Like
also
Papa's
probably.
was a rolling
Yeah.
stone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A clean funk.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like Funk's cousin that just came to dinner. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so it has funk. It has funk in there somewhere, but there's also just this kind of general R&B vibe to me. But anyway, I think we can use those guideposts as a way to like understand what might be a good thing to add in the mix,
A
right?
nice twang on that bass would sound like really funky. You know what I mean? Like if you like.
Playing like in the tone or something about
Yeah.
like there's-
Like a wow.
Yeah.
I know you didn't bring your wah pedal or whatever, but
But like,
Yeah.
even with that there's a place in it where you do that you can like kind of just curve that a little bit more. Like, I don't know if you can extend it without other things because I don't play the bass.
Well, for you,
but,
hum what you mean for me. So
Like,
hum once what I'm doing.
yeah, like
Like
slides
that.
or
Yeah.
Yeah, like hold it, let it curve, you know what I mean?
That vibration right there.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already, it's happening, it's happening. There it is.
Yes.
All right, see, we're getting somewhere. I love when it starts to crack open.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'll just say this. So Guiding Lights to me, I think a lot of the music that we're, I don't know, I think that's taking a lot of light. Sometimes everyone went to jazz school, but I really wish they went to funk school because
You should
that's
start a funk
important.
school.
It might happen, honestly.
Yes.
And I guess the way I might one of the ways intellectually, because I think I absolutely agree with you in terms of like attitude and energy, that's really important. But from like a technical standpoint, I also think like a lot of music that we're into like is very layered, right? So you could even call that like a vertical approach, like jazz is like a lot of times it's like, okay, the piano is laying these lush this layer of texture, and every instrument's kind of doing that in their range. Like the bass is also adding that, and the drums too. It's a lot of texture, it's a lot of layering. But to me, funk is more horizontal, and this certainly happens in R&B, and of course it's all black music, so they're like they're very deeply related anyway, and they're borrowing from each other all the time. But what I mean by that is you find the spaces along time, the space in the groove where something else isn't, and interject a little something. It's like creating syncopation. So and that's what kind of naturally started happening here, right? You were finding the space, like the rests between the bass line in order to like start your phrases, right? But then all of us as instrumentalists can be doing that. Okay, you as a background vocalist can be doing that. You as a definitely trumpet, like little, that kind of thing. And definitely with you, and we're gonna develop a part for that reason. So let's write some parts, guys. Let's write some parts. Okay, so okay, let's okay, Joy, let's get you. Oh, and this is the other thing. I know I've said this, and some of you have heard me say this, and some of you have not. But I ask that you please don't think any of this doesn't relate to you. Because at least my perspective is, if I'm showing someone on drums, the more you can get into the perspective of a drummer, the more you understand their perspective, which allows you to be better at whatever you're doing. And not to mention, like especially with drums, like rhythm is the foundation of all of this. So it never doesn't apply to you. But if I get into some technical thing about how to hold your hands or how they're, you know what made me think of? If you understand what it requires a drummer just to play, and you know what it looks like when they're playing comfortably versus when they're tired. This happens to me sometimes at the jam. I'll see somebody playing and I can tell, well, they can't hold that consistently. They're having a hard time physically holding that.
Yeah.
So I can maybe adapt to what they're doing so that we are again making good music as opposed to like struggling with the technical. You know what I mean? So just saying like, try and pay attention, absorb what you can, and it's all gonna come together. Okay, so let's get you. You're gonna be back to back. We're raining here.
Hey.
Ooh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
No, I ain't sorry.
We're sorry. Okay, so do you remember? Did I ever show you how to hold the stick?
It's like a cup. Kind of. It's your wrist. I know it's your wrist that's the movement. And sometimes
It
I'll
can.
do like that. Sometimes it's kind of like this.
Okay.
What is the proper way?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
What is
You
the
know,
proper- not
so
the proper way.
in short, this is your fulcrum. So this is where they teach. You're generally between the thumb and your index finger. Okay, and then your other fingers provide support, right? So that, and it shouldn't be too tight, or else you're gonna, it shouldn't be tense. It should be loose. Technically, I should be able to just like pull it out. It should be loose. Right. Okay, and then the other piece of it is just like, some people, this is what's called German grip, which is like palm down. Okay,
When
and
you're
that's,
doing this part?
no, we're not talking about that. Just when you're taking a stroke, this is palm down. This is considered like a darker stroke.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. We'll do that. And then this is a French stroke, which is more fingers. Okay, you can use your fingers to create a stroke, and that's considered a lighter stroke. And then in between those two is American grip, which is kind of just a fusion of being able to use your wrist and your fingers. So just kind of find a comfortable space for you, but try just not to do this. Try not to do the British grip. I'm sorry, that was a dumb joke. All right, no British grip. Yeah, let me see. Just play a few notes for me, Joy, with your hand grip, just to make sure your hands are like you feel comfortable. Okay. Now just do me a favor. Yeah, try to wrap it around. Try not to do the finger on it. That wasn't bad, but like, see that?
Okay.
So try not to do this. Try and do this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like that. All right. So let's start that groove again. Brian, play that groove, and you saw what I was doing. Don't feel pressure to do what I was doing.
I don't.
Okay, good.
I can't
But
do
let's see if we can find the space where it feels funky for you. Yes. Okay, yeah. I'm feeling it grow. Okay, so some thoughts here. The first thing that came to mind, I feel like we were naturally in this flow, but I just wanted to speak it aloud, which is you had mentioned, Rainy, about roles.
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever I'm generally like listening to a groove, trying to find my part, I'm trying to find, again, kind of in a funk mentality, like what is the space that is unoccupied? What space can I occupy that isn't already accomplished? That's a general principle that we're trying to be funky today. So what I felt like is your style to me thus far, it feels very textural. Like you play a lot of like long notes and like I think it's really nice. It's creating like a bed that we can like lay on. You know what I'm saying? Which is nice. So but if we know, to me, like usually I'm thinking about like, okay, whatever, 3 core roles. So the role that is one of them, which is like texture. On a piano, that might be more like how you were approaching it at first, which was a little bit more just like letting the notes ring out and like and more pedal and like creating that bed, right? But if that space is already occupied, now that doesn't mean you could layer, right? And sometimes that happens, but sometimes if you're not careful, that can get clashy. In this case, it's not so bad. Like guitar players and piano players, that happens a lot because when you have like 20 fingers just doing whatever the hell they feel like, it's a problem. There's a joke there somewhere, but I'm gonna leave it alone. But in this case, it's probably not gonna be that clashy because you're choosing one note and then maybe they're choosing multiple notes. But in my estimation, if this person's already kind of creating this texture, then I might say, okay, the other 2 roles I could fit into is more of a rhythmic role. So anybody can do this, but like, okay, what could I add that would be more percussive? Or what could I do that would be more melodic? How do I create a melody or a counter melody to accompany what Jomani is doing, right? So understanding, like, that helps me a lot. Just coming into it's like, all right, where do I want to sit? What, like in a way, a lot of it is like, I might argue that a lot of my practice musically is about, okay, how much can I actually disappear in a way? Like not being in my ego, like what I want to assert on the music, but like, oh, what it will be of service to the music. So I love fancy chords. It's my favorite shit. I obsess about them. I do it too much. I probably should have spent more time doing runs or something else. But like, if that's already taking place, then me adding more of that isn't necessarily going to help the music. It's probably better that I do something else. So it's like, I don't even have to ask what to do. If you feel comfortable, you can be like, it will tell you. If you ask the music, like, what do you need? And you just listen, and be like, oh, okay. You start to get more comfortable understanding the answers it's giving you. Yes?
You know what kind of blew my mind when I first started coming to the jams is, you know, Sarah? So Sarah would like pick up the cowbell, right?
Yes.
And like not do much, but it was like always kind of, Milo can do that too. I've noticed Milo doing that with the cowbell. It's very minimal, but it like actually adds something of value.
Yes. Yeah. And then, shout outs to both of them, cowbell gods.
That's gotta be a shirt.
Cowbell gods,
Cowbell.
yes. But absolutely, yeah. So it doesn't necessarily, and that's the thing. I guess I'm just advocating for understanding that like, it's not like necessarily how much or how little. Like you maybe aren't so much in charge of that. Like it's a little sticky, but right. But if you're listening, you might be like, this is all. Like if I'm hearing and it's already busy, I'm gonna do something light. That's how I look at it. That's one way. Again, this is music theory. These are my ideas. You're gonna come up with your own ideas. But to me, that works. If it's already busy, I'm like, well, if I'm gonna add something light, or I might just sit my ass down and not play at all. Like, and rests are a really effective type of note. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we kind of feel clear on our roles. Okay, let's get a little more in touch with these rhythmic possibilities, and then I wanna like talk about the background parts. So, can we just play rhythm section and you? That's you.
Oh.
And you.
Is that me?
I saw the
I
zone.
was thinking about it. I was
You
like,
were
is that me? I'm not really
rhythm
sure.
section. maybe I was doing like faster sync work, but you found something little in the pocket, and that's the more important thing, which I love. Okay, right. Let's turn you up a little too. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I want to hear you. I'm noticing also, and which is why I asked you for a specific part, right? So again, before, it felt like you were giving us more texture, which is beautiful. But it's nice to have like I keep going back to this idea of a two-step. You know, like you can have more fancy moves, but if you have your two-step, now you're dancing, right? Yeah.
I kind of have an idea for like a melody that could go over this. I'm not sure how it sounds over the bass line, but I think it could work. Can I pitch it?
Yes, but hold on. Let me finish this point and then absolutely. I would say that, so I like the idea you came up with. I want to point out, I think a lot of groove is found in consistency, right? So by creating that, and it kind of reminded me of what you were saying, Jomani, about trying to find that variation, right? Dun dun, dun dun, dun dun, dun dun. That's a very simple variation, but it does make the phrase feel complete, right? It like it stops it from feeling so.
It's like a long period or a comma.
And it's like it's funny because I get this. The point is, it's not a big change, but somehow it feels like a big change, right?
Yeah.
So just ending like a little tag, a different tag sometimes can make that difference in making the phrase feel complete. So I guess what I would say, and this is also what I want to see from you, Brian, which is like you're laying down this really funky line, and I want you to explore a little more, see if you can. Like find little moments in between where you can add a little bit more of your own flavor. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's like your two-step, which is it's a pretty fancy two-step actually. You know what I'm saying? But then like, how can we add little other things? Different note choices, rhythmic choices, to give it a little bit more flavor. And I say that because I think what you were singing was beautiful. But I think that you should try, at least for now, try and just find a couple notes or a phrase that you want to just repeat. And then occasionally, you can bring in those other vocal embellishments. See what I'm saying? Can we play the groove one more time? lot of room for Giovanni as the lead to express themselves and not to like clash with each other. That's cool. Okay. All right, stop one more time. Okay, great. Is everyone? Do we feel like?
I did have a thought.
Yes.
Sometimes musicians will mirror each other, and that's also a great way to like stick in there and like kind of also blend what you're doing. Like, at first I thought you were gonna mirror what he was doing, kind of play around it. So like you would be like, right, like something that, or like what's the word for it? It's not mirroring. Maybe it's like you're not playing the same note, you're playing the opposite note, the harmony of it, right? So like you would like harmonize with whatever you're playing, harmonize with him, but it's still that same melody you play. So you're kind of just on a higher note, making this beautiful. Again, adding like color to it, and a good as a vocalist when I'm given supporting vocals to others, I find like it's also easier, super easy to like figure out what to do by just repeating what they do. Like,
Yeah, and
sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what? And not to get too esoteric or be reductionist about it, but I find another like mental trick for me is I feel like these musical ideas are reflections of what we want to see in the world. So like when we're in harmony, we like that. when we're unified, we like that. Like when people play the same thing, we're like, yes, we're together.
Yeah.
That feels good to us, right? We want to see beauty. We want to see unity. We want to see harmony. I think we want to see impact. Like there's a lot of things you could say, but I think that's a perfect example of that. Like if we're mirroring each other or we're having a conversation, call and response is another way of just saying conversation. And good listening, right? So because if you're having a call and response and someone says something and then you can tell either lyrically or musically that they were paying attention, that's like, oh, this is a good conversation. Versus sometimes maybe you have a call and response and one person says one thing and every time they're playing something that doesn't feel related, it's like, oh, well, doesn't mean it's invalid, but I'm like, oh, I'm losing track of the topic now. See what I'm saying? So sometimes it helps me to think that way, like zoom out and be like, all right, am I being conversational? Am I being a good listener? Am I responding to what's happening or am I just being reactive to what's happening? Those kind of things. You know what I mean? Giovanni, so you said, remind me, you were looking to like deal with this piece of like non-repetitiveness, but then I think you said something else about lyrics.
Yeah, so I started writing a little bit, and then I was trying to think about like what could be the theme, so that it wasn't just a question of like what do you want from my love. And so I created a hook where it was like, it seems to me, which I tried out earlier, which is, it seems to me you seek a dream while reality rips from the seams, and then it goes back to the question, what do you want from my love? And then it never seems to be enough. So it's just like a cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there some piece of that feels challenging for you, or like where you feel stuck at all?
Not really. Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. You're in your bag right now. I think you're in your bag. You're like, yeah, this is what I do.
It's been a very long time since I've written a song in general. I think
Wow.
I think for me it's like a lot easier to improv. So getting something down in a recording session is the hardest part for me. Yeah. Like improving it feels good, and then I leave it and then I'm like, oh, that sounded good. I wonder how we can build off of that, and then I don't do it. At all.
Do you have like recording gear at home?
No. I'm a painter, so I be painting.
As one procrastinator to another.
Talk to me.
I just, in my writing session, so my writing approach to music, to anything is really like through freestyle. So I'll like let myself do, especially like if I'm about to go record something, I will go into the studio. I have like 3 songs that I literally just did front to back on a mic, right? I freestyle the whole song. I'll tell the engineer like, yo, just let me rip for like 40 bars. Like, let me just go.
Just go, right?
And then I'll go back to it, I'll listen to it, and I'll cut it down and trim it into what I think it is, or if I'm like, oh, this is perfect, I'm not doing anything. But like, always just like, give yourself the opportunity to revisit what you do, like I have like thousands of voice notes. And I probably only went back to about 400 or 500 of them so far.
Yeah.
But when you do that, one, it gives you, the repetition of hearing your voice allows you to be more comfortable with it, and think of more interesting ways to work with it, but also like, you have to just force yourself to go back to it. It's really great. Cause you also kind of remember that you're a genius, like, oh shit, I'm so smart. But then what I do is I'll like, kind of bring someone else, if I'm really serious about, oh, I wanna build on this, I will recruit other people to hold me accountable to my word. Like, that's what's gotten me out of procrastinating with my shit. I just let somebody else in on it. Like, this is a song I'm thinking about, what do you think? Do you have ideas? And like, either you do or you don't, but even if you don't have ideas, I know that you're gonna circle back to me and have a conversation with me about it. So now I gotta do this thing, right? Like, the best way to like, not procrastinate is figure out a way to hold yourself accountable to that thing,
So like
so that thing gets
accountability
done.
buddy?
Yes.
Yes, drummer.
Yes,
Drum pump.
accountability.
But
Okay, so
that's
basically
it.
I should record something soon.
Yeah, record something, like, give yourself that freedom, like, in a booth, like, it's still just you. And so, like, if you go into your booth and you record something, you're like, one, you've already let it go out of you, so now you're not holding on to it anymore, and you can look at it from an objective point of view and really give it a good editing and shape it into something. But you gotta give yourself that freedom. I know that I didn't listen to my own voice for a long time because I just didn't like the sound of it. Like, other people think I sound great, but I'm like, really? That was trash. Like, I didn't like the sound of my voice until like 5 years ago. So I would never listen to anything that I did. I recorded so much music with people and I've never heard it again.
Yeah.
Like, we listened to it in the studio and that's it, I let it go. But like, being accountable to myself and other people always being like, yo, so when's your album coming out? Where's your album at? Where's this at? Where's that at? Now I have somebody to answer to that's not just me. I can let myself down all day, but like, I can't let y'all down. Now y'all actually you have an expectation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, and then eventually, again, like the freestyle, the more you freestyle, the easier it is for you to make those decisions and connections in the moment. As you keep going, you're gonna be like, oh, now I'm excited about what I'm making, and I have to do this. And you're gonna force yourself, like, it'll become a part of you to just hold yourself to what you say you wanna do, and you'll do it. But yeah, let yourself record and listen to it and sit, and that's just amazing.
What occurs to me listening to you speak is maybe one of the main things that just separates improvisation from writing is like choices, right? Like standing in those choices, right?
10 toes down.
Yes, exactly. Because yeah, I mean, you make choices when you're improvising, but you can be like, well, whatever.
I was just fucking around. It
Versus-
doesn't really matter.
Like, it's not
Yeah.
perfect.
Right.
Right. Versus being like, no,
And then you
this
go to
is-
Java Jam and then it's recorded. I'm like, damn.
Like, damn.
Hello,
Right
wow,
now you're
right.
like,
Right.
that's solidified forever.
Right. Right.
That's on the net.
Right. Like, yeah, or like whatever, like the difference between now you have me thinking about all these visual representations, right? Like putting ink, like inking the or like
Or
you know, versus
painting.
a yes,
Yeah.
like versus a sketch, right? And I would say to that point about writing, like don't wait till you're in the studio. Like you have voice notes on your phone, probably, right?
Yeah.
Like just
He
even
didn't
if no
have
one
to
else
help me out
hears it,
like
like
Yeah.
getting in the habit of making concrete choices and sticking with those choices. And then you have a million other songs you can write, but like
Right.
just sticking to that choice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because not to go on and on about this idea, but like I think like I've been thinking like everything really is a spectrum. It's really true. I swear to God.
Yeah.
And like this idea that like improv and writing are two separate things. I think it's a spectrum. Like I found like a cool way of writing is being like, okay, I know that I can, if I know, and y'all do this all the time, that you improvise and you come up with songs, improvise all the fucking time. But I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna write this verse, but I'm only giving myself like, let's say 5 extra seconds than I would have if I was freestyling it. Like if I was freestyling it, whatever comes out is what comes out in real time, but I might give myself a little extra space, or I give myself, you could give yourself 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or like create like some structure so it's just not the infinite like, because that's how shit never comes out, right? Like it has to end, and it's gonna end in this amount. And maybe then you can also then go back and edit and all sorts of other stuff, but
Yeah.
just like allowing yourself to go for 40 bars.
So I mean, even like in the writing, like writing, I'll sit, and if we're playing something, I'll sit and I just free write.
Yeah.
I don't even like judge the thing that I'm writing.
Yes.
I'm putting all the ideas out. So it's a sense of like, it's like how you gotta clean your kitchen before you start cooking. Like I can't clean with dirty dishes. My kitchen can't be a mess. I gotta clean that up first. So my brain is like, I feel like the brain is the same way. Sometimes we have so much up here, and freestyle can make it very easy for you to get things out, but because you're not writing it, it's whatever, right? But when you're writing and you just start with like a 10-minute free write session, anything that
Yes.
comes straight, just write it all out. It can be stupid, it can be whatever, just write it all out until those 10 minutes, and then go back and read it and edit it behind it.
Yes.
Because really you always have to I have this line that says make room for your blessings. Like you always have to make space for new things to come in. And that's the same thing I feel in the creation process of like a song or a poem, an essay. Like you have to clear the clutter out. Or when you're painting, right? Your painting area is a mess. My studio's a mess. But when I'm done, I clean it up, I got this beautiful painting, but you have to make the space to see what you're working with,
Yeah.
to survey everything first, and then you can pick and choose what you need, what you want, you know what I mean? Keep what works for you and trash the rest.
Absolutely. Okay, nice. All right. So, because I was just trying to arrive at this. I'm just trying to make sure everyone leaves here with a little, or as I've been calling them, seeds, because I want you to have something that you can like work on through your week to push yourself. Because like everybody in here is talented. We all have skills, but it's like, all right. So how can we give ourselves a little something to take us out of our comfort zone? So maybe that's it for you. And again, it's like record. and I think you can. The more you write, also, it still ends up influencing your improvisations, because at least for me, I may be freestyling and I'll be like, ooh, like I get this feeling like I just said something that's worth saying again. So that's the hook. Like for me, I'm just like, oh, okay. And I may have no idea necessarily half the time what the song's about until I'm freestyling, and then I'm like, ooh, there it is. And now I'm holding on to it. You know what I'm saying? So it can start influencing, and ultimately, at least for me, the goal is like getting to the point where a freestyle can feel like it has form, like it can feel like it has like story, beginning, middle, and end. And that's one way, like creating motifs. And sometimes the repetition is great for that reason. Like that makes it feel, I might even say that's sort of like a chord tone. You know what I mean? It has that weight, it has that like concrete, that steadiness. It makes you feel like, okay, I know where my bearings are. Versus, I love, like a lot of my favorite hip hop artists don't know how to write a hook for shit.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful in its own way, but that's more jazzy, right? It feels, if Nas is freestyling for whatever, if Nas is going on for like 64 bars or whatever, like that's dope, and that's a vibe.
Yeah.
But it's different than when you have something that like lands you again. It kind of feels like, it ends up feeling like color tones, and I don't know, I think maybe Kendrick is a great example of this, because Kendrick, I feel like he has kind of an abstract style. I think that's pretty obvious, hot take. He has like an abstract style. But like, if we're taking this analogy far, his verses sometimes feel a lot like color tones. They feel very textural.
Yeah.
But then he does make sure that his songs have like a thing, like the hooks or the pieces of it there. You're like, okay, you know what this is about. This is about Shireen or whatever. You know this is about like the art of peer pressure. This is about this dick ain't free. I don't need to just name all the songs, but but there's something that glues you back.
Yeah.
So like, I think you're already kind of writing it down, but so maybe as we complete or we continue on, I mean, like I said, you're gonna record something. You're recording right now. Hey. But by the end of this session, you're gonna have a whole song. But yeah, maybe just think about that relationship as we're developing. And maybe I'm gonna ask, like, let's see if we can also come up with a bridge. You think we can do that?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. We'll explore what that means in a bit. I want us to let's bring the music back. But any questions or any thoughts we need to add?
I have a melody that I think
melody. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I love that you.
We've been sitting
Like,
on
I'm gonna
this
say it
for-
again because. Okay, yeah. What's your melodic idea?
Alright, so I think this would be like a horn part, but it would be like something like a. But I don't know
That's actually pretty cool.
how to roll it back into the, because like if you go, I guess it kind of goes back into itself, but I feel like rhythmically there's something that doesn't go back into.
That's so interesting because
That would sound, yeah, I see she's doing it.
I feel like it could either be in like a layered on top. You think that also feels like that could be a B section to me. Like it also could be like another part.
It could be the.
Okay, let's try it. Do you feel comfortable trying to imitate him? There's no time
Do you
pressure.
want me to tell you the notes? Alright, so it's F, G, A sharp, F, G. Is that an F? Oh, no. Yes.
Okay, can you? Because no, so concert. He's playing concert G. Can you play concert G? Okay, so there you go. Da, da, da. So you're just G A B flat. Close. There it
you
is.
go. Yeah. Yes. Okay, can we stick with that part for just for a minute? Why don't we loop that? Just so we can get the, and you play the normal line and you just repeat that section. Randy, would you be down to try and do unison with MM? Okay. Joy, by the way, your timing is really good. I want you to try and focus on where you're hitting on the drums, right? Like the difference between hitting the side versus the center,
Right.
versus, generally you're hitting the center and you can do other effects. Like I like the stick click you're doing.
Yeah.
But like when you're doing your fills, just try and see if you can like hone in on making sure you're hitting the center of each drum. And then you're gonna get the cleanest sound.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's gonna sound more consistent and probably more intentional even, Okay, I think that was nice. I thought the mirroring was pretty, or whatever, the unison was pretty cool. I wanna challenge you. I wanna add 2 more notes. I'll add 2 more notes. But like not even, well, okay, we could do, yeah, okay, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm sorry. Feed 2 birds with 1 scone.
Yes. Kill birds.
Yeah, so let's feed these birds. So what's the next phrase after the first one you had?
For the like word.
Ooh. What notes are those?
Let's see, what is this? This is a D, and then this is a F, and then E sharp. Wait, no, E. Sorry, there. E sharp is F.
So let's move a little slower. So just play the D. A little higher.
I think I have step up.
Yeah, half step up. Yeah, take your time. Because what I was gonna say is I want to challenge. I want them to do a solo, but then we can use the notes from the phrase as the foundation for it, right?
Oh, so it's like a solo where these notes are your options.
Right, or that's the scale,
Yeah.
right? Like in this case, if we're saying that, what'd you do? You went, oh. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah, that's more than enough for a solo. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just starting to move those notes around. Yes. Ooh, I love that. That's beautiful. That's
So it's just
that's
a
good.
half step up from that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's okay. Let's do this. So, in this case, I feel like it's gonna be a little easier for you to transcribe the whole line. So maybe we can do that. And then what I'd like for you, before we move on, let's just add a couple notes. So you have, okay, so those are 3 great notes. You can rock a killing solo with those 3. So let's add 1 or 2 more. I wish we could find that beat. Just trying to find that D. Find that D, yeah. Find the 5 or even, can we find C? Yeah, let's see if we can get you to run the scale, because then if we can run the scale, then we have like a lot of choices. Okay, you're in, yeah. So that's in a different key. So we need to move to, or actually, how should we do this? Yeah, do you know? So what scale were you playing? Do you know what scale you were playing?
B-flat,
What was it?
B-flat scale?
You were playing the B scale, concert B.
Yeah.
Do you know the scale a half step down? What scales do you know?
Honestly, that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
keep it real. Okay, so that's the scale you know?
We can move this into a different key.
Yes, that is, yes. Exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to, okay, yeah. That's a bit, like, because the jazz part of me was also like, okay, or they could just play a really high solo. But no, you're right. So let's move it. So I guess you need to move it up just a half step up. Okay, now play those notes in that scale you know.
That we're just.
Yeah, the B scale, the scale you were just playing. Okay, oh, no, go ahead, play G again, play G. And play those notes. Okay. Okay, so you have the notes, but we want to find the tonal gravity, right? So you know I was talking about the chord tones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're playing it as a major scale. You take those same notes, but you center it as minor. What that means is, instead of da 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 da, that note, da, that's your. I'm trying to find the easiest way to describe this. All right, in short, okay, we were talking about this last week, right? What did we say modes were? What's a mode? Do we remember?
Scale played in a different order.
In a different, okay, it's a scale played in a different order. That's one way to say it. Anyone else remember anything that we talked about from that? Pop quiz.
I wasn't here. I wasn't at that one.
See, that's why you shouldn't ditch Joy. Anyway.
Oh, I think I know what you're looking for. It's like it's like a scale, but each one kind of has like a different color, so they sound different. Some may, like for Gene, might sound a little Middle Eastern. Different modes kind of have like different vibes to them. Some are like major feelings, some are minor feelings.
Right. So the point we're making is, or the way I say, another way I was saying it is modes or moods, right? So it's the same notes, but depending on like where you start, it makes it feel different. And it's kind of crazy because it's the same notes, but it's almost like an optical illusion or an aural illusion. Your ears hear it differently depending on how you approach it, right? So you're playing it very major, so it doesn't quite feel settled with this minor idea.
Yeah.
But if you start in a different place, it can start and end in a different place. It's gonna feel minor, but it's all the notes in the key. Okay. So that being said, play the G note again, and if you can play with her, Brian. Okay, now that. Okay, this is really important. And guys, again, this helps everybody all the time. That's your two-step. Whatever your two-step is. So no matter what you do, this is gonna help you too on your fills, right? This helps when you're like, I know, right? Like when you find your two-step and then you move away from it. So if you remember nothing else when you're soloing or when you're playing, if you land back on that note, it rights a lot of your quote-unquote wrongs. Okay? If you land on the one, if you don't lose track of the timing of the tempo, then all that other shit, they'll be like, "Ooh, you hear how she was playing in 5? That was crazy." Oh, you can justify almost anything if the foundation of your two-step is there. So for you, it's hitting on the one. If you hit that boom smoothly on the one, when you do something kind of fancy, even if it's a little out, it's still gonna feel okay. And we're still gonna be together, which is the most important thing, right?
Yes.
Same thing. Any improvisation, you have the freedom to move. Okay, sorry guys, I have to go with this very quickly. So this is definitely something I've learned from funk, and funk is, I think, a really big proponent of this idea, which is like, obviously, has everyone ever heard, everyone talks about on the one, okay, right? Have you all heard on the one?
Yes.
Don't tell me the truth if you haven't.
I've heard it.
Yeah, okay, you haven't heard anyone say it. Okay, we're gonna give you a James Brown playlist. But the one, or like the one beat, right? You're making sure that you land. You can experiment so much. That's what's so cool. And funk is like there's a lot of experimentation, a lot of rhythmic play, a lot of like, let's see if this sticks. But as long as if you back on that one, now we're locked in.
Yeah.
Okay? So for you, there's the one in the music, but then there's just the one as a concept. It's another, I'm kind of subbing in this idea of a two-step. That's your one. Your one being this your grounding force, your control. Right? There's the control in science, science.
Oh.
There's the control and
Yeah. I don't know. The other
Oh.
one.
Well, it's like the experiment and the
Placebo.
control.
right, you have a control, which is like your constant, and then you have your
Subject?
what?
No. Variance. Variance.
Yeah, there's some other word I'm
The
looking for.
control
But
is like the base thing, right? And then you have variants that are offshoots of this.
In an experiment,
Or
you
they
have
put
two
it in
groups, a
different
control and a what?
yes.
that, you'll need to be online.
Siri is so mean. Why is Siri so mean?
I'm really mean to her actually, so we're
Sorry.
It says it's a mutual relationship. Okay, well it doesn't matter. The point, but the idea stands, right? That is your control. So for you, that G note is your control, and then you can play around with any of those notes in any order.
A variable.
Right, variable. Right. Control
That's
variable.
what we said.
That's
Yeah, well, yeah, you said like variant. Yeah, same idea. Yeah. I mean, it's the same idea. It was like variable. I ain't trying to hate. No.
I was like, it's been said. Yes, a variant. A
Yeah.
variable. They're synonymous.
I was looking for the whole. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it in my head.
I can't hear anything except the word I want to hear.
That's like a bird. A bird only focuses exactly what they want to see, not anything else. That's why they're focused.
Oh, so you calling me a bird right now? You come into my house and you calling me a bird?
Yeah,
But
I ain't
birds
no
are the
bird.
best
I ain't
hunters.
no.
Birds are the best hunters.
Okay, nice.
Exactly.
Nice, well done. Well
They
done.
filter out everything unless they see what they want to see. That's why they only get what they want.
Okay. Flip the script. I like that. All right. I was trying to be fake offended, but I couldn't even do it.
You can't. I'm a scientist.
Oh, yeah, I'm a science.
That deserves a crash.
Anyway, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, so as long as I land on like the
Yeah, so let's. Yeah. Woo! That was hot. Yeah, so alright, so let's, just for the sake of it, I want to try and give you some room, because what I really want to get is our vocalists to circle and cipher. Okay?
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Don't be nervous.
No, I'm just getting tired.
Respect, that's real life.
Do you want to sit on the couch? It's like more comfortable. You can kind of like.
No, she won't fall asleep.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely not. We have to sit upright. After
Yes,
this.
attention.
Right. But let's try and give you some room. Why don't you just experiment with those notes and just try and hit your two-step. Hit your one, right? The G. The G actually technically is the one in this context, right? Okay. Yeah, let's just start that groove out. Come on, drummer. Give the drummer some. Yeah, experiment.
kind of get the idea, it might be I might say that. Actually, I don't might say. I do say. I've been saying this for a lot of years, which is just like the difference between an advanced, quote unquote, and a beginner is generally not the material. You're going to be playing the same material your entire musical life. Like the core structure of the music, those 12 notes and those scales, you learn those things. It's the intimacy you have with that material. So it's like how many different ways, how many creative ways can you play those same notes? It's like how much more deeply can you form a relationship with those notes, right? So you already have the notes, and what I loved about what you're doing, I think you have really strong phrasing. Like I think you're naturally like your timing's good. And this is gonna segue into what I would like to say to you as well, which is like, again, it's most of this is Jedi mind tricks. It's like how do I convince myself to be who I want to be in this moment, kind of. So for some reason, it seems like humans don't like we dislike this idea of being repetitive. Like I don't know if it's trained.
It's the pattern and the comfort in it, and then the more you listen to something, the more your brain creates pathways, like it solidifies in your brain. So if you listen to a song over and over and over, it like reveals more things. You can hear deeper because that first audio layer, like on every listen, your brain hears it, and then the next time it encounters that, it already has it in there. So then it just like focuses on what else is
On
there.
the next thing, right? So yeah, there's this. So but what's interesting is I think you talked about both sides of repetition, right? There's a part of us who like we don't like being repetitive. And so we try to avoid it for some reason, which is really, honestly, I think it's a problem in life, it's a problem in music, because repetition and your comfortability and love of repetition is what's gonna make a lot of things work. So for me, like listening to you solo, I kept wishing you would stay on an idea a little longer. Like you didn't, like you came up with like 12 ideas, but if you just go, da-da, but then you go, do-da, 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 and then you go, do-da-da, do-da, da, 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 do-da, da, 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 da. Like you start, you really milk that idea and don't feel afraid to like really sit in that idea. And I think what that communicates often is like meaning, like intention, like no, like that's even low-key a trick.
I think this is important and you need to hear it.
Right, and sometimes like the joke my first drum teacher would say is like, the first time you do it is a mistake. The second time you do it, it's avant-garde. The second time you do it, it's like, oh you hear what he did? You see that was on the off of the, you know what I'm saying? He was actually, it's like on some Jacob Collier shit.
No, if you really listen, like tick tock. See, it's actually in 15/16. I was doing, and that was in F neutral half major minor. You know, like it's. So it's literally like, but it's in the conviction and the confidence that, something really powerful is communicated. And I say this because we all struggle with this. I actually, like, me by myself, I feel like a lot of us, like, when we're by ourselves, we're the hottest thing ever. Sometimes you're like, ooh, I wish I played in front of people the way I play at home. That'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying? But so you have to, like, find ways to, like, shed those layers of whatever, of nerves or uncomfortability or, like, skepticism. And so, but playing confidently or, like, playing something again can convey, like, meaning, can convey, like, intentionality. Sometimes strong and wrong, you know what I mean? Like sometimes even that, like even if you don't play, maybe even especially if you play a note that's not in the key, but you play it with like a lot of like conviction and intention, they'll be like, ooh, okay, ooh, like that was kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what I kind of wonder with you, Sarah, which is, I think, just not to read you, but like I think you have a lot of great musical ideas. I think you have a nice voice. But you seem a little, like you seem a little shy or like you're a little afraid to like project. Am I wrong? No? Okay. For you, so for you, what do you think comes up? Like, what do you feel uncomfortable or what happens?
I feel like I'm like trying to find a place that makes sense. And I feel like I'm not landing anywhere if it feels quite right to make sense to keep repeating, basically.
Okay, so what about it doesn't make sense to you? Can I ask the
I got a question.
vocalist?
Do you trust yourself?
Not really.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion, like, a part of why I'm really, like, so dedicated to getting into all of this is because it's an area that I don't know as well. And it's something that, right, in trying something new, I'm challenging myself to build more trust with myself, right? Because like you said, right, I did something, you were like, that's a polyrhythmic thing, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right, I didn't know what you were talking about, but like, you had this look on your face, like the way you said it made me feel like you were impressed by what I just did. And it definitely was a mistake that I was trying to keep up with him because he had changed to the next part, right? But there's a point where like, oh, I knew it was coming the next time around, so even though I didn't know what to do, I trusted myself enough to be like, I'm still gonna catch this groove though. I'm still gonna catch this rhythm. And like, when I sing, it's very much the same way. Like, singing, rapping, whatever, you have to, like, suspend reality for a second and just act like you're the best person in the whole world. Just
Yes.
believe that about yourself so that you can trust yourself enough to say, wherever my voice lands, I'm not going to carry an expectation with it. I'm not going to try to control how it comes out. I'm going to just know that I know my instrument and I know that the way I work it will work for me, right? And you just trust that you're going to get there. Then you go on your feelings after that. Then resort to your feelings of, does this feel good, does this not feel good when it comes out? But you really have to have this trust in yourself to take the risk in the first place and play around and maybe make a mistake, but that mistake might end up being really good. And then you can figure out how you made that mistake if you want to make it intentional, you can do it again.
Also, what do you want to say? What's like the first thing that you thought of when you sat down?
I mean, I guess back to kind of when I got here and I was like, it's been a long week. Just that feeling of exhaustion, basically.
So, sigh.
Yeah, and that fits in with what she's saying, right? She
No,
sounds
no,
like
no,
the
no,
words
like
are-
do it right now. Sigh. No, like sigh like
Like-
you've been
like
exhausted.
For real.
Have you ever heard
No,
a dog
wait,
sigh after doing nothing all day?
wait. Sigh. Again.
I'm like, overthinking.
No, don't overthink it. Feel it. This week has been pressing on your back, on your body. Feet down. Oh, let it out. I'm so serious.
Yes.
One more time.
I don't think it's awesome.
Do it one more time so you feel like you release something. That sounds like you. Like, it doesn't sound like you're trying to make it seem like we're trying to hear your exhaustion. That sounded like you were exhausted and you let that out. That's what thinking is supposed to feel like. Supposed to feel like whatever you are feeling is out, not for us, but for you. When you have anybody looking at you, they're not here.
Yes.
When you have anybody performing with you, you may hear that you're adding what you feel. Like everybody was talking. It was like, no, how do you feel? It doesn't matter how I sound, how they sound, how we all, because we're all bringing what we felt into it. But like your contribution is yours because it comes from you, not how you think you should sound around us or anybody else. It's for you. By the time you leave here, you should feel like you left either giving a part of yourself or releasing something that you didn't want to hold on to anymore. Everything else is technical, but the part that you feel that you're like holding on to is the part that makes your sound beautiful. You could build from that.
No, yeah, I was just gonna let that breathe because that's a really beautiful, important point. Thank you.
And just to like piggyback on what she's saying, it's like the trust goes hand in hand with that. Because when you trust yourself, you feel safe enough to be vulnerable and put yourself into what you're doing. So in order, like what you're saying is, you know, let yourself, no,
Feel it. We're different because we don't carry our instrument. We are our instrument. So every stress that we feel, anything that affects us affects how we produce sound. So you have to be in tune with what you're feeling, to know how the sound is going to be produced, to know exactly what you want to say, to know how you want to phrase it, how you want to fit in. Even if you don't want to make a sound at all, that's you give yourself permission to do that. But when you acknowledge all those contributing factors, the way you enter into a space sonically changes completely.
Yes.
Well,
See, and you know what, Joy, I just want to point out, I'm letting you, because knowing how much symbol is the right amount of symbol, like that's harder for like, so I'm like, yes, experiment, because the first time, like, oh, that's a lot. Yeah, but you need to feel that. You need
I
to
just
feel that.
want to like, you know, ring a bell or something because there's a lot of good stuff being said.
Yeah.
It's like pay
Also,
attention
you
to some
know,
message.
I love that exercise though. I sometimes see I guess I'm trying to understand from you is like there's a lot of things that can be blockages or can feel like obstacles. Sometimes it can feel does it feel lonely? You know what I mean? Like sometimes we feel better in group settings versus by ourselves or you know, yeah, how do we project that? How do we feel comfortable with vulnerability in these spaces? I feel like I don't want to go into too many like hypotheticals, right? It's about like what feels like it might be stopping you or making it harder for you. Let's not say stop it, right? But I do want to offer. There's actually a Randy Newman quote I really love that I read a long time ago. Randy Newman, you know. You got a friend. Anyway.
Yeah.
But he said in an interview, don't let your editor become larger than your creator. And that really stuck with me. And there's like, I think there's a way he meant it, but then there's like 10,000 other meanings you could get from that. But the idea that allowing yourself, that part of your brain that is editing and trying to like monitor everything you're doing, in performance you have to be able to let go of that or release that for a time. You can come back and you can like refine, but if you're trying to simultaneously edit and create, those two forces are in opposition to each other. So if you're like, oh, this doesn't feel, like sometimes it's like, it may feel uncomfortable, but if you allow yourself to just do it, then you can go back and be like, oh, here's what I want to do better next time, or this is maybe how I would have done it differently to come closer to what I'm trying to say, right? But allow yourself to say it. Does any of that resonate with you? Yeah. Can we do that? Can we do that sigh together? I feel like can we all just sigh? Also, like everything's falling apart in the world, so I feel like we all have something to sigh about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Right. Both feet on the ground. Right. I'm trying to. Yeah.
Planted, literally planted.
Yeah. Plant yourself down.
Deep breath in. One more time. I lied. One more time.
Yes. Yes.
That was the perfect.
That was the right amount of symbol.
whoa, what?
It's all good. It's all good.
Moving on to the cowbell next.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit! Got a cowbells. They're gonna start a group. Shit.
Okay, let me see
Cowbell
what I-
gods.
The cowbell gods, the deities of cowbells.
Okay, so yeah, we have like 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is like I want to play this one more time and see again. I want to get us to the point where we all feel like we have a little seed, something to work on. Who feels like right now? Who feels like they have something to work on?
You mean like when we leave?
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
did. Okay, now, yeah, I was actually thinking. Okay, so wait, did everyone raise their hand except you? Who else? Did anyone? Okay.
So what I'm gonna say is, again, you're very good at of the consistent pattern. So my challenge for you is I really want to see, and I'm gonna be like listening. I want to see you like stretch out, be okay abandoning the two-step.
Well, so I am, but also like I feel like on some level I'm kind of like anxious.
I
Right, and
know.
I don't want to throw people off who are like trying to find their two-step.
Right, I understand. But and that is a great impulse. But I am trying to challenge you because what I will say, we all again getting back to roles. So as number one, like I see you're like a, again, excuse me for reading you, but like I feel like you're a very empathic person. You care about like how people are existing in the space. You're like, oh, let me like play bass because that will help the
It's
ensemble.
giving fatherly. Must lead the pack.
Right. And I think that's beautiful, but I also want you to be able to see the other perspective, which is like, if instead of you being the anchor, what if you were the bird? What if you allowed
Okay.
yourself to fly?
You asked for it.
I did. So I want to see more. Like I want you to.
Sorry.
We'll figure it out. We shall figure it out.
Okay.
I'm nervous. He
And-
said you asked for it. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
what does that mean? What does that mean?
We'll see. I'm curious now. And okay. And also, Rainier, do you feel like I don't know? You've been playing the same part. Do you need like? Would it be helpful to give you something more to play with?
Golly.
It's okay. I think what they said about like trusting yourself, that like I wasn't playing louder because I felt like I wasn't playing good.
Oh.
Dynamics.
Dynamics.
Come on. Okay. All right.
Shake
Cool.
your
So you
ego.
already yeah you have an intention then. Let's go. All right, rhythm section. Start us off. Yes.
What you want from my love?
want to see you be busy. Be busy for me. Yeah, take up a lot of space. That's right. We're in the band. We need a lot of energy. It's the drive. That's right. It's fine. Keep going. Yes. Yes. Come on. Yeah. True New York jam session. Everybody, do too much right now. Everybody, do too much. Yeah. Now we play. Yeah. Let's just express yourself. Uh-huh. Yes. All right. Before we end, is anyone down to do a solo? That was the best ending we could have possibly had in that song. Everyone just be like,
Well, I did what I came to do.
okay, nice.
You sounded amazing.
Yes. For real.
I was thinking, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
I could hear you this time. I couldn't hear you before.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were times we were playing, I didn't even know you were singing. Like, and that's no shade. It's just I have bad hearing as well.
But
Yeah, my hearing.
But
is
no, and that's what I said, because I was
Don't
sitting here, I
sound
was
bad.
like, it sounds hella good. I'm like,
hear you,
I
but
want
this
to.
time I heard you. I heard what you were doing.
projection.
Yeah, you were
Yes.
projecting.
Oh.
You were in it. So
Yes.
good job.
I was like, let's go.
That's right.
That's how you guys
Projection. That's a big
We
symbol.
starting off with size next time.
That's right.
Get that shit off.
All right, y'all. So, yeah, yo, I think this was incredible. I hope y'all learned something. Before we go, I just want to go around and let's like each talk about our seed, if we could. Randy, for you, what do you feel like is your seed? What are you taking into the week? What do you think you want to work on?
Trusting myself more. Also, just feeling more free. Yeah, I think those two.
Yeah, it's, and you know what? I'm gonna send you some stuff too, cause there's I bring him up often, but Kenny Werner, he has this series called Effortless Mastery. He's a jazz pianist, but it's a lot of these like exercises, right? Cause it's like we always think it's about the mechanical, but the mechanical you can get the mechanical, but it's here. Like I like to say, like life is easy, we're just hard. You know what I mean? Like we overcomplicate things. So how can we trust ourselves? How can we feel comfortable exploring?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's because like I'm not great at listening, and when I do listen, I'm like, oh shoot, like how do I not ruin what's going on?
Well, I didn't think you
By
were ruining
believing
anything.
that you can't ruin it.
Yeah.
There it
That
is.
That is the
There it is. Unruinable.
Unruinable.
Accepted.
Yeah, yeah.
Challenge.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You said expected?
No, well, that too, but
You said I will. By the way.
Okay, Joy, how about you? What's your seed?
My seed is working on my hold, my grips here. And really just relaxing a bit more into all practicing and then just shedding.
I mean, yeah, I think you have really strong, like, musical ideas rhythmically. I mean, you does this.
Yeah,
you already
that's
do
it.
it.
But like,
It's like
it's
now,
this part
it's
is
the
working it all out,
translating, it's
you know?
the, I would say, articulation. So how can we make those notes clear, like enunciating everything you're trying to say? Because they're already there. It's just like, how can we like just make it a little bit
Yeah.
more crisp? You know what I mean? Okay. Stella, how about you?
I guess mostly just trust in myself and like letting it, like if I land on something, just kind of letting it carry me and not worrying too much about it being like exactly what I wanted to go for or exactly like slotting in perfectly with whatever else is going on. Like trusting that it will get there
Yes.
eventually.
Yes. I'm gonna resist the urge to ask what your sign is. I was like, Virgo? No, sorry. Just, no.
No, the immediate.
No,
She was
no,
like,
not at all.
With the face too.
It's giving Libra or Aquarius.
No.
Not in there.
See, so- okay, all right. That's
wait,
for the
wait.
after party.
Wait.
just mine.
Everybody, stop what you're doing. Me,
No.
me,
Leo.
me.
Azalea.
No.
Cancer.
Yes.
I knew it was.
No, I lied. I just.
You just wanted to say.
Oh, he's a Scorpio.
Oh, you wanted to do.
Are you a Scorpio?
Nope.
Yeah.
I lied
The
again.
fact
Ah! See, this
What
is-
are you
I'm
then?
an Aquarius.
See?
Wow.
That's
he's
what it
not
was.
wrong. Because an Aquarius man would do that. Notice how I said
Alright.
man
See,
specifically.
See, that's what I get for bringing up astrology. The whole class is around.
That's what you
No,
get.
yeah, that's what I get. That's what I get. What's your seed, Brian?
What's your seed, man?
I really liked what you said earlier about the difference between like a beginner or intermediate and a pro is like finding a lot of ways to kind of like dig deeper into the like you're not playing something different than everyone else is playing. You're just kind of finding other ways to flesh it out and to like know it more intimately. And I think what I'm gonna do is like when I like sit at home and improvise or try to write, I'm usually trying to come up with a lot of material and like keep moving and do a lot of things. And I think what I'm gonna practice is taking something simple and finding a bunch of ways to play it.
Yes, absolutely. And I won't even. Yeah, but like, and the more I've been able to think in cells, right? Like I find a little cell, like a little. It can be 2 notes, it can be 3 notes, it can be 1 chord, it can be, but just like one idea, and then being like, how can I bring richness to this one idea, as opposed to like, yeah, moving on and on and on.
Do you know the psychological concept of chunking?
Yes.
What? What is
So
Why
like,
don't you tell them about
let's
it, yeah.
let's say I gave you the number 8102, right? That's 4 chunks for you to remember. If I told you that's the year 2018 in reverse, now it's only one piece of information to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do the same thing with music. Is like you're using a lot of. I think in one of the jams you referenced like RAM. You're using a lot of RAM when you're learning something in the beginning, but as you practice it and your neural pathways kind of connect, you form
Yes.
chunks that you can put
Right.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to keep it as much in mind at one time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Cool.
So I think I'm gonna try and make more chunks.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and I wanna and I do also just wanna encourage you to like don't feel so much pressure to hold everyone together.
I don't on guitar. I do on bass.
Right. Which is again the roles. This is what's so wild. It's like there are imagined roles and then there are like actual roles. It's like as a bass player we're assigned a task, but sometimes you can get so like I don't think like Thundercat knows how to like release that role and just be expressive
Yeah.
as opposed to just
But
being bass
he's
player.
Thundercat.
No, but you're Brian.
Right.
No, seriously.
You're right.
Like the difference between Thundercat and Brian is he's just like he probably doesn't even say Thundercat. He says his name's like Ronald or something.
I feel like he says
It's like,
it. I think he's like, wow.
or actually, he does say I'm Thundercat, but that's what allows him to. It's like a chicken or the egg. Is he Thundercat because
He's
he
Ronald.
was
Or is he Ronald because he's Thundercat?
right? Like is he Thundercat because he always was Thundercat, or was it because he's Thundercat because he decided he was Thundercat, and therefore now you look at him like, well, that's Thundercat, and I'm Brian. No, you're Brian, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
No,
apologize.
you're good.
You
Why
see
would
what I'm
you
saying?
apologize for that?
Or imagine or even imagine like, yeah, I'm Thundercat right now. If I was Thundercat, how would I play this song? And there's like, honestly, it's a really good trick, like role play. If you're like, I know who your favorite trumpet player is, if you have a favorite trumpet player, but be like, if I was Miles or if I was Lee Morgan or whoever you're into, like, how would they approach it? It's like a cheat code you can kind of get out of yourself and into like this other identity. Like if I was my superhero or the superhero version of myself, what would I do? So I just want to encourage that too. Like I think that's a good practical thing, but then also mentally, emotionally, see if you can challenge yourself to just like let loose, even as a bass
But
player.
then when I did, I forgot.
Exactly.
So they have to come back to home.
I forgot how to go.
Forgot how to home.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the balance. Yes. Beautiful.
Damn.
Hey man, what about you? What's your seed?
Honestly, I feel like it's a mix of things. I probably want to like become more comfortable with like scales and more technical stuff because then I feel like I might feel like less restricted in like the improv.
Yes.
So like probably focus a bit more on that, and then some of the things you were saying earlier about like being a bit more confident about what I'm playing and like trying to like be more repetitive in it. I think I was also trying to find the best thing. But then even like when we last played, like I was like listening to you and I was kind of like ripping off of you and kind of like listening to everyone. So I think that also shapes the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
fun.
Yeah. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I'm gonna recommend specifically. I'll recommend to you working on your chromatic scale. And another person I'll bring to the chat is Barry Harris, which some people may be familiar with. Like he's a really incredible jazz pianist and
Can you
educator.
put together a Spotify playlist?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also it's just like a YouTube playlist because these are people who have a lot of like wisdom that they bestow educational wise.
What's his name?
Barry Harris. He's got a whole jazz music philosophy that a lot. He taught in New York. He was. I wish I caught him. Like I was being a dummy and I didn't go. But while he was still living, he would teach every week and be like, that's not how you do it. And for 20 years he did that. 30 years. But Barry Harris, he's got a whole system. But one of the things he said that I thought was really fascinating was this idea of like the chromatic scale is like all the elements of your universe, right? Like it's like everything is contained in that scale. Right? And then you start breaking it apart and then it becomes whatever, carbon and hydrogen and da-da-da-da, but everything is contained there. So if you get comfortable, not even that fast, but like if you can get all of those notes together and the more comfortable there, then all of the other elements of the universe flow from that.
Yeah.
So try working on your chromatic scale because then you can be like, okay, I need D. Like it'll be easier for you to ground yourself
Yeah.
and then build from there. Domani, what about you?
Take it to the bridge.
So we get to the bridge.
Taking it to the bridge.
Take it to the bridge. I need to learn how to write bridges. Cause you threw that at me and I was like, damn, what do I say?
But you were good in it.
I
Like,
appreciate
you eased
it.
right
Yeah.
into it.
I was just like, okay. But now I need to like learn how to structurally write a song. That's where I'm at right now. Cause I can write one piece and then another piece and another piece, but how do I make it flow so that it's one song? And that's how I get stuck. And that's why I don't record it.
I would say, cause you can put a bridge anywhere. You know, like a lot of song structure is being destroyed these days. So it's like really Wild West again. And you can put a bridge anywhere, but like I think if you're thinking about like how do I make my song flow, I think you listen to it, you record it, right? And then you listen to it and then you say, how would this sound here? Cause like, once you have it recorded, you can, and you hear how it is at one piece, if that doesn't make you feel good listening to it from top to bottom, then you know, okay, the place that I feel like this doesn't fit, I'm gonna move this here. Like, you can always edit a song, right? So just write the song, listen to it, record yourself doing it, listen to it, and then be like, maybe that bridge needs to go right after the first verse and not before, not after the second verse.
Right, and it feels to me like the more you do that with the unlimited time frame of a writing session, right? Like to me, the word that comes to mind is form. You're already obviously very comfortable improvising. You know, you have your go-to moves. You know what I mean? And you feel comfortable in your voice. But the storytelling now, it's like, all right. And you know, it's like, it makes me think of filmmaking. It makes me think of like, you know, some movies it's like 2 months ago and it starts with a flashback, or some it's like you start kind of at the end of the movie and then we're catching back up. Like, how do you think about the story I want to tell? Because even the word bridge, sometimes like those names can get in the way. It's like, well, what does a bridge mean to you? Like, what does this represent in your story? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, thinking about form, and I think you already create structure in your music, but just maybe being like, or in your improvisations, I mean. But then like, how can you be even more intentional about like the story you want to tell? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's kind of like zooming out, the microscope, like zooming out, and then looking at it like from a bird's eye view, as opposed to as like as close as you are to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the thing about how I improv is like normally when I'm feeling like right there.
Right.
So it's everything is almost like a little sonic journal. And then by the time like we pass on from there, I forget like how I'm feeling in that moment unless I have to recall that. And that's why it's like, oh, I should record this, or I should structure, like make a structure out of it. Like, I don't want to feel that again. I let that go already. So it's just
Well, you're
like,
not. That's also it. You're not really feeling it again.
me?
At least you're. Let me put it. I'm
Me?
I
Me
get-
personally?
Giovanni.
I'm
I'm
buzzing
not
right
speaking for you. I'm the colloquial you, right?
Right.
Because I know what you're talking about. There's so many things.
Good
I'm like,
girl.
oh, I don't. Like, that's the poem you want me to say? I don't really.
I'm
That's not where I live anymore, right? But like, it's really important. I think that when you're making music, especially, like to remember the aspect of that you're a storyteller, and you don't have to. You might feel it again for this moment, but remind yourself you're not living that again. Like, that is not your reality. So especially with things that were written like in hard times, or like, I wanted to kill somebody. I never want to feel like that again, right? Like, you don't have to take on the full experience of that feeling when you go to revisit it in a song or a story or whatever you're doing. You can. It's like putting on a jacket as opposed to having to sleep in it all the time. You know, or you don't wear your pajamas outside, right? It's like, these are my pajamas. I left them in the house. I'm not gonna go out in my pajamas, right? Because I'm not sleeping anymore. Or, you know, but like, I still have those pajamas. I have pajamas in general, and they're wonderful pajamas.
This is an interesting, and yeah, not to get into a whole other class, right? But I think this is maybe even that exploration for you. It's like, it makes me think of Mahalia Jackson, because Mahalia Jackson said that she don't sing the blues because she don't want to be sad all the time. Like, for her, gospel was what she wanted to sing because that kept her in the space she wanted to be in.
Yeah.
Right.
She could have sang other things, but this was what she wanted. I think actually, yeah, I'm gonna live the life I sing in my song. That's a song she sang, and that's a reflection of her philosophy on songwriting. So maybe there's certain things you don't want to write about, or I feel like there's this piece of catharsis that you're like, I'm letting things go.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, so in my story, musically or in life, what do I want to revisit versus what things I
Right.
don't?
Because you don't have to make everything in, you don't have to put everything out. You don't have to put everything into a song. Like, and like, it's helpful just for you to get into the practice of revisiting things, and like, just in that, create that practice for yourself so that it becomes more regular. But like, you don't have to share everything. You don't have to put everything out. And I think, I feel very deeply. I'm a person that, like, when I perform a lot, y'all will see me walk out the room because I cannot be around people like I'm that sensitive to the energy I'm putting out. I get exhausted, and I'm very highly aware and highly sensitive to what's going on. So it becomes this overwhelming thing, right? So to get out of that feeling or move past that moment, I'll separate myself from the space to recalibrate. And I find like, I think revisiting things when you're writing, or especially when you're like creating a project, that's something to practice on. Like if there's things that you just don't wanna write about because you never wanna revisit that again, then don't share that stuff.
And the last point I will add, I mean, one way also is like, another way to think of a chorus is an affirmation. Like, let's say you're writing about something angry, or something you were angry about, but you're like, maybe the chorus is, I never want to be there again. And then maybe the verses are freestyle because you're releasing, and then you're coming back to the thing you want to come back to, which is, I ain't gonna be there again. As an example, right? Like, deciding for yourself what that relationship is with writing, and like, what sticks, right? Which versus what goes away. You know?
I
Alright.
feel.
I appreciate all of y'all so much. Thank you for thank you all for playing. I hope this was a good experience for you. Zavin plays, like I said, $20 sliding scale, whatever y'all can do, I appreciate you. And I'm gonna do next week Thursday too, so if you wanna come back, glad to have you. I love that we're building a little crew of people who come back around. Yeah.
So wait, it's gonna be alternating Wednesdays and Thursdays now?
That's what I've been doing thus far to accommodate people's different schedules.
Okay.
So next week I'm gonna do Thursday and we'll see, you know?
Is there a jam at Lucille's this Friday?
There is.
Where-
Oh yeah, El Pluggy. Yeah, Friday is the jam.
There's a jam right now over at
Appreciate you.
About Last Night.
Hell yeah.
What?
Appreciate you.
There's a jam
Have a good
right
night.
now over at About Last Night. I think I'm going to stop in for a minute.
Unfortunately, I kind of have to work very early in the morning.
Ah, nah, just, it's
Thank
not
you
my
so
jam.
much.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I love
Yeah,
jams.
yeah,
I
I'll
live
back
for
in.
them.
Yeah,
But,
Hell yeah.
Have a good night, y'all.
Good night.
so then,
I'm sorry.
I want